Every day, engines big and small travel down the main line with heavy goods or passengers. And as such, the rails can become very worn out due to excessive use, making them very bumpy, unstable, or just unfit for mainline work. To fix this issue, the Fat Director had gotten Albert to carry out daily maintenance across the main line. A lot of engines didn't like this job as it meant sitting in the hot sun all day doing nothing, but Albert didn't mind. But this meant that if an engine passed an area that Albert was working on, they would have to slow down to prevent a serious accident from unfolding. All the engines understood this. Well, most of them did. Tyler, an engine that came from the mainland to help on the Northwestern Railway. Although being a very pleasant engine, that didn't mean that he was all that perfect. Whenever he saw Albert working on a section of tracks, he would often try and rush by, but thankfully, his driver would stop him. He hated slowing down, and whenever his driver couldn't stop him, he would rush by whistling and wheezing loudly, often taking Albert by surprise. One day, Tyler was waiting for Eagle to arrive at Lower Knapford. He was complaining to no end. Eagle was running late. Where is that red buffoon on wheels? This is supposed to be a guaranteed connection, not guaranteed misery. Thankfully, Eagle could be seen rushing down the line, looking very tired. Sorry I'm late, said Eagle. Albert was working on the line and I had to slow down, which made me late. Preposterous, said Tyler. There's no point in waiting for him to finish one section of tracks. You should have just rushed over. What's the worst that can happen? I could have come off the tracks, and then you would have no passengers. What would you do then? Run my trains on time for one thing. If you keep going on how you do, you'll probably have no train to pull, stupid. Stupid yourself, said Tyler. Now I'm off. You've delayed me enough. Good day, and he puffed away angrily. That engine, I have no idea what he's on about. Tyler was rushing down the line trying to make up for lost time. All the while he was bitterly complaining to himself. Stupid Eagle, stupid Albert, stupid maintenance trains. This railway can run fine just without them. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Soon, he was approaching the next station when he saw Albert. Oh dear, he thought. Never mind, I'll just rush past. But his driver had other ideas and slowed him down. Bother, he said, as he puffed by Albert. As he slowly crept into the station, he looked back, pointing daggers at Albert. Rotten maintenance trains. What is this railway coming to? Making me late? But don't you worry, I'll show you, Albert. And he hatched a plan. Next day, Albert was working on the main line viaduct. Everything was going smoothly, and it seemed nothing could go wrong. Until Tyler could be heard rushing down the line with a heavy train. Sounds like Tyler, said Albert. I hope he remembers how to slow down, he chuckled. But he didn't, and a loud crash could be heard. Albert was most surprised. You miserable engine! Me and the workmen work hard all day to ensure you have a safe railway to run on, but no, you just go along, rush by without a care in the world, and ruin everything. You've knocked all the sleepers out of place, said bye-bye to the gravel, and we had to work all day long just to make up for lost time. I don't know what you're bellyaching about, Albert. You're the one making me late every day, and the one time I rush past, you are mad at me. I can safely reassure you that you pulled that more than once, and every time I held my tongue back and didn't tell the fat director. But no, this is the final time. Once the fat director hears about this, you're done, boyo. Oh, my nonsense? What about your nonsense? You're making everyone late every day. For a good reason, you insolent idiot. You know what could happen if you rushed over like that? Oh, I would finally get my trains delivered on time? Would that happen, Albert? Oh, fine. The next time you rush over and something bad happens, don't come crawling to me for help. Alright, that's enough. I am tired of listening to this. I have had enough. If you two don't shut up right now, I am going to come over there and shut you myself. Is that understood? And sure enough, it was understood, and no one said anything for the rest of the night. But the next day, the fat director arrived at the sheds. He had heard all about Tyler's recklessness, and he was not happy. Now, Tyler, I understand that you don't like the idea of being late, but that is no excuse for rushing over the line where there's maintenance being done. If you do this again, then you'll be doing maintenance trains instead of Albert. You understand? Yes, sir. Good. Now, you need to take a train to the harbor. Edward was supposed to pull it, but he got called elsewhere. Tyler didn't want to take Edward's train, but he reluctantly agreed. After the fat director had left, he puffed out of the shed still feeling very grumpy. Tyler was a bit grumpy at first, but perked up once he got to see all the beautiful places on Sodor. Meanwhile, up the line, Albert was working on another section of tracks, and everything seemed to go well. Tyler was approaching where Albert was working, but this time, he was focused on not rushing by. Well, a bit too focused, because when he arrived, he realized he was going too fast, and then when he tried to stop, he couldn't. He applied his brakes and used every ounce of weight and steam to stop the heavy train. He rocketed past Albert, taking him quite by surprise. He nearly jumped off the tracks, but then there was trouble. He rounded a curve and then it happened. He had managed to stop but too hard and gave his train a great big bump. One of his vans opened up and all the crates and boxes fell out on the line. Thankfully, his crew managed to pick up the crates and boxes and put them back in the van in a swiftly manner, and Tyler departed likewise. He was very late and was hoping to make up for lost time. He finally arrived at the harbor very late and tired. And he was too tired to head back to Tidmouth, so he just went to sleep at Knapford Sheds. The next day, Tyler woke up worrying about what the fat director might say about his accidents. That afternoon, Albert was tearing up an old siding with the workmen. The siding had sunk into the ground after it gave way, and due to excessive rainfalls it became a ditch, so they were just tearing it up when they heard a whistle. It was Tyler. He was pulling a heavy goods train, and he was running late, so he was rushing down the main line. He had completely forgot about Albert. "Stop, Tyler," said Albert. Tyler heard Albert and applied his brakes. But it was far too late. He slid into the siding and splashed right into the dirty ditch water. Albert managed to pull out the train with the crane, but there was a problem. The workmen couldn't get the breakdown crane to start again. Albert was trying to think of ways he could pull out Tyler when he had an idea. "That's it! I could use the well wagon behind me to pull him out!" Albert's crew and the workmen remained skeptical, but they had no other choice, so Albert rolled the well wagon into the ditch, and Tyler was coupled up. Tyler was completely drenched in dirty ditch water, and he was too embarrassed to say anything. Albert understood this and got ready to head home with him. And they left for the big station together. Finally, Tyler found the courage to speak. I'm really sorry. You were amazing. "Oh, stop being such a wet blanket," interrupted Albert. "Granted, the accident was completely your fault, but I forgive you, and I'll not tell the fat director." "Really? Why?" "Well, you may not know this, but back on my old line, I used to know an engine exactly like you." "That engine was me." "That engine was you?" "Yes," said Albert. "My old line shut down due to poor safety records." Albert paused dramatically, but then continued. "When my line shut down and I got sent down here, I smartened up and became the engine you see before you today." Albert looked at the sky with a twinkle in his eyes. Although he was sad that his line shut down, he was happy to be on Sodor with his new friends.